Thank you.
Assembled in a
Thanks for
county.
being here, guys. Hi, give everyone hugs later. Hi. And thank you all for being here on this really awesome day because today Ann Arbor and East Lansing and fans all over the state celebrate one of the most exciting traditions in college football, the Michigan State football game. Yay! And, you know, whether you're wearing green and white or like so many people with us here this morning, maize and blue, everyone knows the excitement of this day. But today in Michigan, we're also celebrating something else, a new tradition, a tradition of voting early and in person. Today, we celebrate the first ever day of statewide early voting in a presidential election. Woo! And I'm so pleased to be here with these incredible leaders from the Ann Arbor community to celebrate and kick off this day here in Ann Arbor. Now, all across the state, more than 20,000 voters have already cast their vote at an early voting center as of 10 a.m. today. That's extraordinary. And while East Lansing got a slight head start on official early voting when they kicked off earlier this week, both rivalry cities have started off strong. In fact, the two cities are neck and neck on voter turnout. So far, just over 23% of East Lansing's active registered voters have already cast a ballot, either voting from home or at the early voting site. And 25% of Ann Arbor voters have submitted their ballots so far. So thank you to Michigan voters who have overwhelmingly approved a constitutional amendment in 2022 to expand voting options. We now have a full 9 days of early voting in every community statewide. That's 2 Saturdays, 2 Sundays, and a full week in between, from today until next Sunday, November 3rd. And early voting works a lot like voting on Election Day. A voter comes in, gets their ballot, marks their ballot, and enters it into the tabulator. The ballots are tabulated, but results won't be generated or released until after the polls close on Election Day. Our dedicated clerks have worked hard this year to prepare for this new option under a tight timeline. They've had to train new staff, identify their early voting locations, and find out what works best for the voters in their communities. Here in Ann Arbor, Clerk Jackie Beaudry has led the way on innovation. She's really one of the best clerks in the country, and she works right here in Ann Arbor with the University of Michigan Museum of Art and the Duderstadt Center to launch early voting centers here in Ann Arbor. That's where many students and community members have been able to register and cast their ballots already. Jackie's already hard at work today making sure Ann Arbor voters have everything they need to be a part of democracy, and I congratulate her on her first day of early voting in the general election. So while Jackie is out there in the field working, I also want to recognize that we're here in Ann Arbor's amazing district library to celebrate this kickoff. Like a lot of communities, Ann Arbor has made its libraries a place not just for books and for community activity, but a place for coming together. And it's a perfect location to celebrate that community through early voting, where community members can come together to make their voices heard and have their choices known. So today, Ann Arbor Library Director Eli Nyberger is here with us. Eli, thank you for hosting us this morning and for collaborating with the clerk's office to make 3 libraries, here Westgate, Mallett's Creek, and Taberwood, early voting locations. Can you share with us why you believe libraries are so great for early voting?
Absolutely. Thank you, Secretary Benson. And we're so thrilled to be here today for celebrating the first day of statewide voting in a presidential election. Libraries are government, and government is the people. And the people are at the best when they work together. And when City Clerk Jackie Beaudry came to us over a year ago and asked us if we would be willing to open 3 of our locations for 9 days, multiple times a year, to be able to help the community vote, we were immediately all in. Public access to democracy right where the community already is government at its best. And to making things easier, saving you a trip, and hopefully you'll certainly discover something awesome that you didn't already know you needed when you're here in the library. We encourage all of Ann Arbor, whether they're in the library 3 times a week or whether they've never visited AADL before, to stop by an early vote. And we encourage voters all across Michigan to find out where their early voting site is and check it out. Try asking your library. It's a place right there in your community that is not only dedicated to helping you find an answer, but helping you find an accurate answer. And that's more valuable than ever. Thank you so much to City Clerk Jackie Beaudry for working with us and partnering to bring this excellent experience to our patrons and to the community. And to Secretary Benson, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for the many service improvements you've brought to the state government and for championing efforts to make voting more convenient, accessible, and secure for the state of Michigan. Thank you all for coming, and go blue.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Eli. So with 2020 and 2022, Michigan has had 2 consecutive elections with record-breaking voter turnout. And we're really encouraged by a strong start so far to this election. So no matter where you are in Michigan or who you vote for, your vote matters. And that's true for Wolverines, for Spartans, and for every citizen in this state. So if you're not one of those 1.5 million Michigan citizens who've already voted in this election, go to michigan.gov/vote to find your local early voting site or to make a plan to vote on Election Day, November 5th. Let's start our new voting tradition off strong today. So whether you go blue or go green, go white, visit michigan.gov/vote to get ready and go vote. Thank you all for being here today. I especially, I'll take a few questions if folks have them, but I especially also want to thank this amazing collection of leaders, local leaders from Ann Arbor. It's a big reason why Washtenaw County is leading the state in so many ways. So thank you all for being here. And I think all of you are now going to go vote, right? Or almost all of you are going to go vote early. So let's go do it. And I'm happy to take any questions. There are.
Secretary Benson,
Yeah.
do you think the numbers would be a lot lower if we didn't have this 9 days of early voting?
I think people love options, and what we're seeing, we'll see how the next 9 days go, but what we've seen in Detroit so far is a lot of Detroiters choosing, instead of voting from home or voting in person, that they're going to choose to vote during the early voting period. So I think you'll see some people just choose a different option. But what I've been seeing, talking to young people in particular here in Ann Arbor and elsewhere, that I think you will see a lot of people who maybe wouldn't have voted but are at the library or at the museum say, you know what, I'm eligible to vote and I'm going to vote, I'm going to do it here. So we hope that encourages more people who otherwise wouldn't have voted to vote. But I think more than anything, it creates a more convenient option for a lot of citizens to vote and participate in this election. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. We got some cupcakes to celebrate. Woo!